Hey everybody, Dr. Ed Gigliotti here. We are blessed to have people following this video blog from across the US and beyond, even out of country. So today what I wanted to do was share some valuable information that can help you get better results when under upper cervical care, either at this office or another one. Okay? There are some common situations that happen that could be putting a lot of stress on our nervous system, slowing down our healing and aggravating the case, like aggravating how quick your body's able to heal and stabilize the injury. Okay? The first is falling asleep sitting up. We see this quite commonly in the office, especially when people are over 65. A lot of times people report that they go home, they sit down, watch TV or read a book, and before they know it, they wake up and they were asleep for quite a while. Falling asleep sitting up for even a few seconds can make you lose your adjustment. And you just got to think about it biomechanically. You have a 10 to 12 pound head balancing on a small bone known as the atlas vertebra. What's helping your neck go upright is not the bones themselves. It's like a lot of the musculature, right? The muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, but the muscles are holding everything in place. So the moment somebody dozes off and their head's upright, it usually kinks off to his side. That puts a lot of pressure on those tissues that are holding that vertebra in place. So a lot of times we'll see that their atlas will slide out even if they were adjusted the day before. So like if it's a right atlas, it's like it's in better positioning theoretically, right? Neurology looks better. And then all of a sudden it goes out when they fall asleep sitting up. So what we suggest in the office, all of our doctors, what we suggest is if you know you're going to fall asleep sitting up, first off, get a chair like a recliner that can go back. And the moment you sit in that chair, put it 45 degrees or more. If you put it 45 degrees or more, the weight of your head will go back instead of on the rest of the vertebra, the tissues that are trying to heal, that could destabilize everything. Okay? So falling asleep sitting up. And that goes also for flying. So I always tease people and I say, if you're going to fall asleep sitting up, do it on the flight home. So that way we can help you when you get off. Try not to do it on the flight there so you're out of adjustment. Okay? Next, and we just experienced this, didn't we, everyone? Okay, especially if you live in New York or the Northeast, is snow. Snow puts a lot of stress on people's neurology. So, number one is snow shoveling. As you can understand, all the weight's going to be in the shoulders, especially if that's not something you usually do. You don't usually use those muscle groups. You're more likely to lose your adjustment after a big snowstorm of shoveling your driveway. Okay, so we just saw that today. We were adjusting a lot more people than regularly. We got a few inches of snow over the weekend. Okay, so if you have to shovel, no sweat. Just get checked as soon as you can right after. If you got checked on a Monday and it's a snowstorm on a Tuesday, it's probably a good idea to come in on a Thursday again that week, and we'll push out the next visit. Okay. Next is snowblowing. Snowblowers, we find, actually aggravate the nervous system more than shoveling itself. And we believe it's because of the vibration. When you're trying to hold on to those snowblowers and you got that constant vibration, it's putting a lot of stress on all the musculature and a lot of kinetic energy up your shoulders and your neck, putting stress on the atlas and all of that. Okay? So, like I said, it's okay if you have to do that stuff. Just try and time it appropriately and let your doctors know. So that way, if something doesn't add up, they know why. Okay? Next is the complete opposite end of living in New York is the riding lawnmowers. Okay? On the flip side, we find that people that use push mowers actually hold their adjustments better than people that use riding lawnmowers. And before doing this work and being immersed in upper cervical care for the last 10 plus years, I wouldn't have known that. Like I would have assumed otherwise. Okay. But what we believe it is the same thing with the riding mowers. And there'll be another example after this too, is the vibration. The vibration creates aggravation for everything to be stabilized. Okay. So we help a lot of commercial landscapers that come to our office. And they soon learn, they realize the relationship of being in or out of adjustment, like having pressure on their nervous system or not. And it's tied to what they're doing at work. So we have a number of commercial landscapers that will get all their grass cutting done on like Tuesday or Wednesday, let's say, and then come in Wednesday afternoon. And they do much better under care if they're checked right after that. So if they lose their adjustment, they're clear. Okay. Some tips we have. If you're like, listen, grass is my life, it's got to look great. Okay. My father-in-law is like that. What we suggest is number one, lower the air pressure in the tires. So that way it gives a little bit more suspension, because usually these units don't have suspension, is my understanding, which is why there's so much force going through the spine. And then number two is just slow down. Take your time doing it, especially if you're over a bumpier area. Try not to like go so quick on it that you're jolting yourself all around while doing it. Okay? All right. This goes right into the last two situations. This is a personal situation because this actually happened to my mother back in like 2015, 2016. Power plates. So power plates are, if you don't know what it is, one of our doctors didn't even know. I had to share it with him recently. But a power plate is a health device that it vibrates at high speeds, and they say it helps with like proprioception, your balance, circulation. So it has some like pretty cool, it can have some cool benefits. Now, what we do find is that when you have that high vibration going through the spine, through your feet, it can have the opposite effect when you're under consistent upper cervical chiropractic care. It could create a destabilization where you can't hold your upper cervical misalignment. And we've actually seen a couple times where it'll change misalignments. Okay? Now, this happened to my mother. My mother in 2015 was coming down from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Okay, believe it or not, I was a Canuck. Okay, I'm American now. And she was coming under care, and she would drive down every 2 weeks. Wouldn't miss a visit. She's coming down. Now she has my brother, Dr. Joe, who's an upper cervical chiropractor in Canada, so it's much more convenient for her. But what was happening is there was a certain time when she was holding 2-3 months at a time where she was only holding about a week to 2 weeks at tops on her upper cervical adjustment. We couldn't figure it out, and it just wasn't adding up with all the testing. And then finally, she shared with me that for about 8 to 12 weeks prior, she was using a power plate that her and my father purchased to help with some other health aspects of their health. Okay? But during that time, she was losing her adjustment. She was also having huge flare-ups. She was getting her old low back condition, which hadn't bugged her for 3 years since being under upper cervical care. She was having like almost debilitating low back pain, and then sinus issues also. So once we figured that out, she cut that out of her health regimen, and I kid you not, she did way better under care and with her health. So just take that in consideration. They're not as common, but sometimes people are using them, and because they're not as common, we don't even mention it, right? But it is really important. Next is neck massaging. So just want to tell you, we work with a lot of massage therapists. We love massage therapists. They do incredible work, and what they do is so beneficial for health and healing. Okay? That being said, as you can understand, we're using about 2 pounds of force on our instrument, so gentle. So that's why the vertebra won't misalign in ever a different position, but when we gently adjust, we can get them in the proper position if we're on the right vector, right? Now, if you were getting a deep tissue massage or massaging of the neck, a lot of times it's more than 2 pounds of force. So what we find is it could create instability in holding your adjustment. So people are holding their adjustment, and then they get a neck massage, and then after, everything's shooken up on our testing. And if we don't put 2 and 2 together, we're not sure why, and that could be why. So what we suggest is if you're under upper cervical chiropractic care, okay, keep it below the shoulders. All right. So try to keep those massage therapist appointments below the shoulders. And I'm telling you, massage therapy is amazing. It many times helps people hold their adjustment even better when they're getting massage therapy at the same time as upper cervical chiropractic care. But just so they both benefit each other, keep it below the shoulders. So you can do upper back, low back, pelvis. All that stuff is amazing. It can help relieve tension and help your body function even better. Okay. Last thing I'm going to share today is when exercising. So when exercising, be careful with like shoulders or chest, like pressing heavy weight in an uncontrolled manner, because they're going to put a lot of kinetic force and strain on your upper cervical spine. One, which is, I would say, creates the most issues for people, what we've seen clinically, is lateral delts. Okay. A lot of times when people do these, they're creating a lot of strain in their shoulder and their lower neck, which goes up to the upper cervical spine. We find that people can't hold their adjustment as well once we realize that that's what they were doing. We find the reason why. Okay? So what I would suggest is cut that exercise out with weights. Find other ways to exercise those lateral delts. Personal trainer can help you with that. Also, you could look up stuff online or look up YouTube, like ways to exercise the lateral deltoids, and there'll be some really good exercises that'll help you accomplish your goal without straining your nervous system. Okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this. Love and appreciate you. Okay? If any of this stuff happens, no sweat. We're here for you. Okay? Just make sure that you get checked when you need it, and especially if like something happened on a Tuesday, like there's a snowstorm on a Tuesday, like I gave the example, just try not to wait a full week. Possibly consider getting checked later that week, and we could push out the next visit. Okay? And if anything ever does happen, keep your doctor updated, because sometimes that'll help with them caring for you also, where they'll be like, okay, we're gonna put that on our notes, so that way if something shakes up, we have an idea that there could have been a variable in your care. All right? Love and appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything you do. Share this message if you think there's anybody under care that could benefit from this. And we'll have another video out soon enough. And thank you for tuning in.